Ha ha ha. Look, my loyal subject, this child's eyes and brows look just like mine. She is truly of my bloodline. Out of 6 children, I'm the only one who is actually yours. How could she not look like you? This idiot emperor can hear my inner thoughts. Your Majesty, what is it? Don't look at me. I don't know anything. I'm just a baby. It is over. That look confirmed it. He really can hear me. I'm done for now. I was just born, and now I'll be burned as a monster. Your Majesty, please don't frighten me. Is something wrong with the baby? Your Majesty, where are you going? The child is still very young. She shouldn't be exposed to the draft. Oh, feeling guilty. This has only just begun. Your Majesty, where are you going? The Eastern Palace. Crown Prince Xiao Jingyun, the Empress's firstborn, the heir apparent.
It is over. It is all over. The Great Purge is about to begin. The eldest prince isn't your own flesh and blood. He is the son of the Empress and the Great General. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Imperial Father, please calm down. You can't blame me for this.
Your Majesty, where are you taking my child? Empress, you have just given birth. Your body is weak. Return to your quarters and get some rest. But the baby? My daughter. I am taking her to meet her big brother. Is there a problem with that? Your Majesty, Jingyun, he is currently studying. Your presence now would only disturb him. Oh boy, here come the excuses. You're usually pushing for father-son bonding. Scared today, are we? It is fine. Ah. Greetings, Your Majesty. May Your Majesty be blessed. Why have you come here in person? His Highness is inside practicing his calligraphy. Have him come out. I offer my respects to my Imperial Father. What a waste of a face. Half of it looks like the Empress. Half of it looks like the Grand General. There isn't a single bit of it that looks like you. I pay my respects to my Imperial Father. May Your Majesty be well. Rise. Father, is this my newborn sister? She is truly adorable. Her eyes and brows look just like yours, Father. Another one saying she looks like me. Are you lot all blind? Or do you just prefer to lie to my face? Is that so? I also think she resembles me. Jingyun, how old are you this year? In reply to my Imperial Father, I am 16 years old this year. 16 years already. Time passes so quickly. I still remember when you were born. You were just this tiny. Anything I have achieved today is entirely thanks to my Imperial Father's guidance. Good. Does the Empress treat you well? Mother treats me as if I were her own flesh and blood, with the utmost care and affection. Duh, of course your own mother would treat you well. And what of the Grand General? What do you think of his character? The Grand General? I am not well acquainted with him. Is that so? I have heard, however, that you enjoyed visiting the General's manor quite often as a child. Back then, I was young and did not know any better. I simply thought the archery and horsemanship at the General's manor were interesting. Oh, you were far too sensible for your own good. On your 8th birthday, your mother begged me for days to get you that prize steed from the western regions, and you immediately turned around and gave it to the General's son. You even declared that the General was the person you respected most. My face turned green with rage back then, but I endured it. That western steed, the birthday gift I gave you. Father, I truly liked it. You liked it so much that you handed it over to someone else. You knew how to curry favor even at the age of 8, using what I gave you to win over my own official. Forgive me, Father. I was young and naive at the time. Young and naive. Now that you are 16, shouldn't you be using the position of Crown Prince I gave you to scheme for your real father instead? Father, what are you saying? I don't understand. I can't admit it. I must never admit it. To admit, it means death. You don't understand? Look at this child. He looks like me. Now look at yourself. Tell me, where do you resemble me? Father, Stop struggling. You have a small mole behind your left ear. It is exactly the same as the General's. I saw it the moment you were born. I must have been blind not to notice it before. 16 years. I spent 16 years raising another man's son, and I even named him Crown Prince. Ha ha ha. Transmit my decree. Crown Prince Xiao Jingyun has shown a lack of moral character. Depose him to commoner status and offer him poisoned wine. As you command, Your Majesty. Father, you cannot do this. Wang Day, go to the Eastern Palace. Deal with everyone who knows. Take care of them. Yes, sir. Jingyun. My son. It was you. You are the one who killed my son. Your Majesty, the Empress. Please remain calm. Where is the Emperor? Where is Xiao Yan? Make him come out and see me. His Majesty has already gone to the second prince's residence. Jingming, prepare the carriage. We are going to the second prince's residence. Father, why have you come here in person? Is this my little sister? Let me see her, father. Father? Jingming, I heard you recently acquired a painting by a master from the previous dynasty. Bring it here for me to see. Yes, it was not easy for me to obtain this, and I was just about to present it for you to appreciate, father. Please take a look, father. The grandeur of these mountains and waters, and the bold strokes of the calligraphy. It is a fake. This, how can that be? It is a recent imitation. The craftsmanship is crude. Your uncle spent 5,000 taels just to buy you a piece of trash like this. Please forgive me, father. I did not know it was a fake. But father, how did you know it was 5,000 taels? Only my uncle and I knew about that. You didn't know? You didn't know it was a fake. Then do you know that your uncle embezzled 300,000 taels of military provisions from the Northwestern Army? The soldiers at the frontier go hungry and cold, risking their lives to defend our borders, while you and your mother indulge in these frivolous trinkets here in the capital. And this one is even more pathetic. His father is a mere scholar. Look at his frail and weak stature. Where is even a shred of the heroic spirit of a warrior emperor like me? Let me ask you again. Whose son are you? Father, I am your son. I am your own flesh and blood. Flesh and blood. You carry the blood of that corrupt official in your veins. Do you even deserve to be my son? Guards. I am here, Your Majesty. The entire household of the Minister of Personnel. Seize them all. Throw them all into the Imperial Dungeon to be executed after the autumn trials. As for the second prince, Xiao Jingming, for conspiring with the traitor and attempting to commit treason, he shall be granted a silk cord for his end. Your Majesty, please show mercy. Jingming is innocent. He is still just a boy. It is my family's fault, not his. If you must punish someone, punish me instead. Please, spare my child. Spare him. Empress, the sons you have brought into this world, each one surprises me more than the last. Your Majesty. Before you beg for mercy, you should be thinking about where I should head to next. No, Jingming. The next one is the third princess. Her father is a grand academician of the Hanlin Academy, but this princess is quite clever. She probably won't be easy to deal with. What a pity that such talent belongs to another family. Her father is nothing but an old pedant, filled with empty rhetoric. Back when I was still the crown prince, we often discussed poetry together. Who would have thought? He certainly didn't hold back when it came to his friend's wife. Your daughter pays respects to Your Majesty. What are you doing? I have been feeling restless. I wish to write a few characters to calm my heart. Oh, from the movements within the Eastern Palace and the second prince, you had already guessed something was wrong. You are taking a gamble here, gambling on whether your father still values our familial bond. Is that it? I too am feeling restless. Why don't you? Why don't you write a scroll for me? I wonder what it is you wish for me to write, father. Country. People. Peace and prosperity for the land. This was the ancestral motto of the former emperor. It is also the lifelong pursuit of Xiao Yan. At this very moment, these four characters are nothing but a death warrant. I obey the imperial decree. There it is. There it is. You couldn't hide it. Li Wenbo's calligraphy is renowned for its spirit and strength, especially the sweeping stroke at the end. It features an extremely subtle upward flick, known as the Wenbo hook. You have studied calligraphy under him since you were young. That habit is now etched into your very bones. It is no wonder you are the daughter of Grand Scholar Li. Even this Wenbo hook has been mastered with such vivid precision. Father, how could you know of the Wenbo hook? That is a private, delicate detail of my father's brushwork. I hate you. Why were you even born? You monster, kill you. Guards. Drag her out. Grant her the sword. Ha ha ha. Xiao Yan, you are nothing but a massive joke. Do you think killing us will bring you peace? My mother will not let you off. My grandfather, my uncle, and the great general of the realm. Your empire will eventually belong to someone else. Move! Don't be upset. Don't be. It is not worth getting angry over a woman like that. Out with the old, in with the new. You can just have plenty more of your own later. Don't dwell on it, father. The more you think about it, the more it hurts. Now is not the time for sadness. The revolution is not yet successful. Our comrades must still strive hard. There are still 2 left. If we don't deal with them now, are we going to save them for the new year? Wang Day, prepare the carriage. We go to the Wang Hall. Yes. Your Majesty. Your Majesty, please stop. I was wrong, Your Majesty. My sins are punishable by death. Just take my life instead. Please spare the children. They are innocent. Innocent? And what about me? Am I not innocent too? It is my fault, Your Majesty. I beg you, for the sake of all our years as husband and wife. Husband and wife. From the moment you bore that first bastard, there has been no bond between us. Exactly. Don't waste your breath on her. This woman is devious. She is just putting on a sob story now. She is trying to stall for time. She must have already sent someone out of the palace to notify her family and that general. If we don't hurry, it will be trouble once they bring their troops in. Look at this build. His father is commander, Zhang Lai of the Imperial Guard. A real brute. The genes from a refined emperor like father just don't match. Father, why are you here? Father, look at the new boxing style I've been practicing. Is it impressive? Father, who taught you this style? Commander Zhang did. Commander Zhang said, it is their family's secret technique, called the Mountain Crushing Fist, the Zhang family's martial arts. It is over. The poor fool just handed him the blade himself. You choose not to practice the imperial ancestors' long fist, and instead train in the family style of a mere subordinate? What is this if not courting death? Father, my son. You are quite fond of Zhang Lai, aren't you? Commander Zhang has been very kind to me, father. He often takes me out of the palace to go riding, and he teaches me how to spar. He spends more time with me than you do, father. Good. Since you are so fond of him, I shall send you to join him. Join Commander Zhang. Isn't he on duty outside the palace? Commander of the Imperial Guard, Zhang Lai. Dereliction of duty. Conspiracy to rebel. Execute him on the spot. Xiao Jingwu is not of pure blood. He is not my son. Strip him of his status as a commoner. Father! Why? What have I done wrong? You have done nothing wrong. The fault lies with your mother. And that dear uncle of yours. Alas, you poor child, you'll die a confused soul. Forget it. I'll do you a final favor. Let you die with the truth. Your mother is the Empress, and that uncle of yours, the Imperial Guard Commander Zhang Lai, is your true father. Your father has raised you for 12 years, only to find he was raising a son for his own subordinate. Tell me, isn't that infuriating? Zhang Lai is my biological father. So that is why. So that was the reason. I am his son. No wonder I could never master your imperial swordplay, but was naturally gifted at his crushing mountain fist. Ha ha ha. Father, To think I'm still calling you father. I don't hate you. If you want to kill me, just do it. But could I ask one favor of you? You have no right. Xiao Yan, remember this. My mother had more than just one son. You'll never finish us all. This throne of yours will be taken by someone from the Zhang family sooner or later. Your Majesty, the palace gates have been cleared. How many are left? Only one remains. The fifth princess, Xiao Yunsu. She is 10 years old this year. Her father is even more absurd. He wasn't a noble or an official, nor was he a powerful general. He was a court painter from the western regions. The Empress begged for a long time to have him brought into the palace, and as he painted, they just happened to fall in love. Father, your head is practically covered in a lush green pasture by now. Go to the Jingshu Palace. Yes. The features of a mixed blood are so obvious. That Western painter back then had the exact same pair of eyes. Father, were you blind or just incredibly generous? How could you not have suspected a thing? Yungxiu. Father? Painting? It is a nice painting. I was just doodling, father. This style of painting, I have never seen it before. Who taught you? Don't struggle, you silly girl. That painter father of yours, Yelan, ha ha ha. 3 years ago, because he tried to run away with you to the west, your mother had him silenced. His body is buried in the mass grave outside the palace. I will ask you one more time. Who? Who taught you to paint like this? It was taught to me by Master Yelan. He was not your master. He was your father. You, just like that, father of yours, both have eyes that do not belong here. You, just like that, mother of yours, are both skilled at deceit. Father, I want to go see him. Very well. I will grant your wish. Make sure she departs with dignity. I understand, Your Majesty. Your Majesty, it is all over now. These hands signed 5 death warrants today. 5 children I once regarded as my own flesh and blood have now turned into dry bones. I know this is not the end. This is the beginning. The true revenge has only just begun. The next one shall be the architect of all this. Our dear Empress. Stop looking. The more you look, the heavier your heart will feel. In the end, you are also a pitiful soul. You gave your true heart, only to be met with a complete and utter deception. Though he is a heartless tyrant, as a father he truly tried his best. This wooden sword was carved for the crown prince by him. Those painters and the zither vanished like bubbles overnight. Father, stop crying. It is all in the past. You still have me. I will be here with you. Yes, I still have you. I have only you left. Xiao Yan, I will kill you. Look out, the hairpin is poisoned. How? Done with the sob story, and now you move in for the kill. Xiao Yan, you butcher. You executioner. They were your own children. How could you lay a hand on them? Empress, have you forgotten? They are not my children. They are the bastards of you and your lovers. You lie. They are all your children. They are yours. If they were truly my children, why did you try to kill me? Kill me, so that your eldest son, the seed of that great general, could ascend the throne rightfully? Everything you said is true. Jingyun is not your son. Jingming isn't either, nor is Zhao Yue. Jingwu isn't yours, and Yungxiu isn't either. They are all my pride. The fruits of my love with men who truly cared for me. Only you. Xiao Yan, what do you even count for? You only married me for my family's military power. Are you finished? I never loved you. Do you remember this? You gave this to me before we were wed. You said you liked peach blossoms, so I filled the grounds with peach trees. You said you liked Western paintings, so I searched for the finest artists. You said you liked to hear the zither, so I sought out the Jiaowei zither. And you repaid me with 5 horns of cuckoldry and a poisoned hairpin intended to end my life. Empress, what is your heart actually made of? No, that is not true. Hear my decree. The Empress of the Liu clan is of corrupted morality, has defiled the inner palace, and conspired to commit regicide. Her title is hereby stripped, and she is cast into the cold palace. As for the Liu clan, execute every member, and implicate all their kin. Thus, it is decreed. It was you, you little monster. You are the one who ruined my entire family. Even as a ghost, I will never let you go. Xiao Yan, you heartless, ungrateful wretch. My esteemed ministers, surely you have all heard of the upheaval in the palace yesterday. Today, I shall provide you with an explanation. Proclaim it. By the grace of heaven, the Emperor decrees, the Empress of the Liu clan is of unvirtuous conduct, colluding with the great general and the Minister of Personnel, the Grand Secretary and the Commander of the Imperial Guard, and the Imperial Painter, among others. She birthed an illegitimate heir. They have wrought chaos upon the court, and their crimes deserve death. The so-called Crown Prince, Xiao Jingyun, and the others are the offspring of rebels. They were brought to justice yesterday. The Empress Liu is hereby stripped of her status and reduced to a commoner, to be confined in the cold palace forever. The adulterers, including the great general and the Minister of Personnel, are sentenced to death, along with 3 generations of their kin. The Liu clan, having plotted treason, is to be executed in full, extending to all their relatives. Oh, the great purge has begun. Look at those from the faction of the Minister of Personnel. Their faces have gone pale. And look at the great general's men. Their legs are shaking. Heads will be rolling like melons now. My esteemed ministers, do any of you have any objections to this? Your Majesty is wise. Such treacherous rebels deserve severe punishment. I second that, Your Majesty. Very well. Wang De, convey my imperial decree. Order the Ministry of Justice, the Dali Temple, and the Censorate to hold a joint inquiry. Investigate this case immediately. Show no mercy to those involved. The Imperial Guards shall raid all properties of the traitors, confiscate all their assets for the state. Yes, Your Majesty. My esteemed ministers, my children were all harmed by these vipers. Heaven has shown mercy and left me this one drop of blood. The daughter in my arms, named Xiao Ning'an, is my only remaining child. From this day forth, I confer upon her the title of Grand Princess, Protector and Regent. Grant her the golden seal and the stipend of a prince. Her ceremonial honors shall be equal to those of the Crown Prince. But historically, women are forbidden from state affairs. Stubborn old fool. Minister of War, you were the one who promoted the Grand General back then. You're afraid of being investigated yourself, aren't you? Grand Censor, your son married a woman from a branch of the Liu family. You're just afraid of being implicated. Minister of Rights, you old fossil. All you know is how to cling to the rules of our ancestors. I know what you are all thinking, but my mind is made up. Who is in favor? Who opposes? Long live Her Imperial Highness, the Grand Princess. May she live for 1,000 years. Long live Her Imperial Highness, the Grand Princess, for 10,000 years. With a father so decisive and ruthless, it seems my little life is safe. To touch me is to strike at the very foundation of the state. My imperial father will tear anyone who tries to pieces. Your humble servant pays his respects, Your Majesty. Rise, Minister. What is it? Your Majesty, the arrests in the capital have become extremely intense. The arrests in the capital are so severe that everyone is now living in fear. I humbly implore Your Majesty to temper your iron-fisted wrath. For those who are merely coerced, perhaps you could show mercy beyond the letter of the law to help stabilize the court. Sigh. This old man is such a pedant. His heart is in the right place, but he lacks political wisdom. To speak of mercy to enemies now. The Liu family and the general's faction have roots tangled throughout the court. If I let one go today, tomorrow they will conspire to revolt. Mercy to the enemy is cruelty to oneself. Prime Minister. Prime Minister, do you think that I have killed too many? I would not dare to say so. I know you fear for the stability of the court, but at a time like this, the use of heavy punishment is all the more necessary. I want everyone who harbors malicious intent to be too terrified to even consider rebelling. Your Majesty is truly wise. It was my own confusion that clouded my judgment. Rise. Wang Di, give him the list. This is the list for the joint trial by the 3 judicial offices. Take a look and see if there is anyone else to add. This list is inadequate. Far too many people have been omitted. It seems there are turncoats within the 3 offices as well. Wang Mang, Right Vice Minister of the Ministry of War. He is the adopted son of the general, yet his name is absent from this list. Qian Feng, Vice Minister of the Ministry of Revenue. He is Empress Liu's cousin. He is responsible for laundering their assets, yet he is also missing. And Zhao Keming, Minister of the Supreme Court. He accepted 300,000 taels from the Liu family. A thief crying, thief, to catch himself most dangerously. Sun Che, the governor of the capital, commands 3,000 garrison troops, and he was bought off long ago. Should they choose to rebel, the consequences would be unimaginable. Your Majesty, I thought this list was already quite exhaustive. Is that so? Since the Prime Minister also feels there are no issues, then you may withdraw. You may withdraw now. If not for you, I fear I would have been deceived by these treacherous officials to my grave. Heh. It is nothing, really. After all, you are my father. Wang Di, I am here, Your Majesty. Deliver this list to the commander of the Dragon Shadow Guard. Yes. Tell him to handle it personally. Tell him, I want them captured alive. I want to follow the trail of these people and root out every single one of their accomplices. Not a single one must be spared. Your servant obeys your decree. Ah. Let's go. Ning'an, father is taking you to see your new home. Do you like it, Ning'an? This is the Grand Princess's manor. I've moved the finest treasures from the National Treasury here for you. That is such a waste, Daddy. What would a baby like me know? Instead of spending money on this, you should be rewarding the soldiers at the frontier more. The barbarians to the north haven't been settling down lately. Be careful they don't strike while we're in the midst of internal turmoil. Wang Di, convey my imperial decree. Allocate 1 million taels of silver from my private treasury and 100,000 taels of gold, and send them to the northern border immediately. Reward the 3 armies. Your Majesty, but this, the national treasury, is currently, I am using my own funds. Just state that it is from my private treasury. Your servant obeys your decree. Wait. Daddy, you're going to lose your mind at this rate. If you keep going like this, you'll collapse long before the enemy ever reaches us. You'll wear yourself out. You need a good night's sleep. Your Majesty, these are the most reliable wet nurses and nannies in the palace. Please take a look. Selecting personal attendants for the eldest princess. This is Nanny Liu. She has a wealth of experience. No, she has sticky fingers. She stole fabric from the wardrobe last month to sell. She'd steal all my toys. This is Matron Zhao. She is very efficient. Even worse, she is one of Lady Liu's people. Drag her out. Investigate her background. This matron Jiang seems decent. Her family has a clean record for 3 generations. Her son serves in the Imperial Guard, loyal and steadfast. She may be a bit dull, witted, but she is honest and kind-hearted. She'll do. What is your name? Your humble servant, Zhang Quilan. Good. From now on, you will take care of the eldest princess. Look up. Your life and your son's life are tied to the eldest princess. If any harm comes to her, your entire family will pay the price. As you command, Your Majesty, I will serve her with my life. Do you like it here, Ning'an? Daddy will bring you here every day. This imperial garden is quite well designed, though the feng shui is a bit off. The thorny plants on the left are inauspicious, and that rockery on the right, it's too tall. It violates the white tiger's head taboo. It invites disaster and bloodshed. That rock is moving. Watch out, it's dangerous. The rock is falling. Protect the Emperor. Lock down the Imperial Garden. Investigate this at once. Search every inch of the ground. I want the culprit found. Damn it! To think they would dare strike right under the Emperor's nose. This person has significant reach. They could bribe the craftsmen and even evade the Imperial Guards. This was a meticulously planned assassination. Your Majesty, we have captured several craftsmen responsible for the repairs on the rockery. They confess to being threatened with the lives of their families. Who is the mastermind? They do not know. The individual communicated through a eunuch in the palace, and that eunuch was just found dead in a well. The trail is gone. What is the point of investigating these small-time pawns? To orchestrate such a massive scheme within the palace, it must be someone of high standing. Let me think. Empress Liu has fallen, and the general who guards the nation is dead. Their factions have been thoroughly purged. Who else would have the motive and the capability to eliminate us father and daughter? Who stands to gain the most? The other princes, of course. But that doesn't seem right. Weren't all the other princes done away with by you, father? Wait, it seems I've forgotten something. Right, the 6th prince. Father, you still have one more son. The 6th prince, Xiao Yan, 8 years old this year. His mother is Consort Xian. Because he has been sickly since childhood, he has always had little presence, so he was overlooked by you. Consort Xian, it must be her. Her father is the Vice Minister of Works. He is in charge of the repairs for the Imperial Gardens, and she is a distant cousin of Empress Liu. She has deep ties with the Liu family. Once Empress Liu fell, she feared being purged, so she decided to act first, striking before she was struck, by killing us. Then her son, Xiao Yan, would be your only living heir. In that case, wouldn't the throne belong to the two of them? What a clever maneuver. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Wang Di, prepare the carriage for Changchun Palace. I wish to visit Consort Xian. This concubine greets your majesty. Father. Rise. How is Jing'an's health? Is he still not recovering? Replying to your majesty, it remains the same. The imperial physician says he must rest and recover. An Oscar wouldn't be enough for his performance. This acting is far more sophisticated than that fool Lu Ruyan. And this little one is quite the film star himself. Look at him, his breathing is steady, his eyes are clear. Hardly looks like a boy who is sick, does he? That pale complexion is just rice powder, right? Humph. Is that so? Feeling guilty, are we? Afraid father will check your pulse and find out your son isn't sick at all. I heard that there was an incident yesterday. You weren't too frightened, were you? Your concubine heard about it. It was truly, truly horrifying. The 3rd princess and the others. I didn't sleep a wink all night. Yes. I am deeply heartbroken as well. That is why I must investigate this matter to the very end. The Dragon Shadow Guards just reported back, stating they found some clues. That is wonderful news. We must bring the killer to justice. To comfort the spirits of the princess and the princes. Look at that. Her hands inside her sleeves are already balled into fists. She is nervous. What she wants to know most right now is, what exactly have you discovered? As it happens, the Dragon Shadow Guards found some residual medicinal powder at the scene. After examination by the Imperial Medical Bureau, it was identified as a rare Western potion called tendon softening powder. It is colorless and odorless, but can slowly erode plant fibers. The killer used this substance to break the ropes securing the rocks. To think there exists such a sinister substance. Indeed, what is more coincidental is, Imperial physician records show that, throughout the entire palace, only one person has recently requested this medication. Consort Xian, a few days ago, did you not say Jingyan had leg cramps and needed this powder to improve circulation? Yo, Your Majesty, are you suspecting me? I am innocent. It is true that I requested the medication, but it was truly for Jingyan's use. How could I possibly harm the princess and the princes? I have no desire to contend with anyone, and only wish for Jingyan to grow up safely. How could I do such a thing? Cough, cough. Father, please see the truth. My mother is innocent. The truth is here. You still won't admit it. Your composure is quite impressive, but you think this is the only evidence. How naive. Your father, the Vice Minister of Works, is in charge of the garden renovations this month. Those workers who were bribed are all under your father's command. Although they are tight-lipped, their families have all been invited by the Dragon Shadow Guard for tea. Care to guess how long they can hold out? I too believe you are not daring enough to do this alone. That is why I have your father, Minister Chen, the Vice Minister of Works, brought into the palace as well. I expect he will give me a reasonable explanation, an explanation as to why the workers under his command happened to appear at that rockery and why their families, as of yesterday, all collectively received a massive hush money payment from your family. Why? How could you possibly know all this so clearly? Now that things have come to this, do you still wish to quibble? Ha ha ha. Quibble? Why would I need to quibble? That is right, I killed them. I was the one who had someone loosen that rock as well. I wanted to kill you. Why? Tell me, why? That fool Liu Ruyan gave birth to 5 bastards, yet she got to be empress for all those years. And I, who bore you a true prince, had to stay beneath her and live in her shadow. Why? Why? You killed all of her children overnight. Yet you specifically spared that newborn brat, Chanzi, and even named her the Princess Regent. What about my son? What about my Jingyan? He is your only son. He is the future emperor. You are biased. You are unfair. Father, you are wrong. Mother didn't want to kill you. She only wanted to kill that little bastard. As long as she is dead, you will finally see my worth. I am your most capable son. Oh my God. Is this kid a born sociopath? This is terrifying. Someone like this must absolutely not be left alive. Truly, my good son. Hear my decree. Consort Chen, the virtuous consort, is vicious of heart, having conspired to murder the royal heirs. Her crimes are unforgivable. Her son, Xiao Jing'an, is heartless by nature, collaborating in these atrocities. A truly appalling display. I shall grant you and your son your wishes. Did you not say he is the future emperor? Very well. From this day forward, this Changchun Palace shall be renamed Yong'an Palace. You shall be the Empress Dowager of this Yong'an Palace, and he shall be its emperor. Every day, I will have someone deliver one person's worth of rations. As for who gets to eat them, whether the Empress Dowager eats it or the little emperor eats it, will depend on how deep the bond between mother and son really is. Xiao Yan, you are a devil. May you suffer a wretched death. Father, I was wrong. I will never dare to do it again. Minister of Works, Chen Yuan, Qing'an, you failed to discipline your daughter, indulged your concubine, and brought about this disaster. Your family property shall be confiscated. You are demoted to a commoner, and you are never to serve again. Father, have you had a change of heart? You're actually being so merciful to a man like this, just demoting him to a commoner. Killing him would be getting off too easy. I will let him live. I want him to watch with his own eyes, his most beloved daughter and his most favored grandson tearing each other apart in that palace, slowly rotting away. I want him to live his entire life in regret and agony. That is the greatest punishment for him. You really are cold-blooded. You certainly know how to destroy someone's soul. After purging the consort Xian faction, father had become truly alone. He no longer trusted anyone, except for me, held here in his arms. From then on, I, Princess Ning'an, guardian of the state, became the only person the emperor could not live without. The envoy from the northern barbarians. The look in his eyes is not right. He's hiding a knife behind his smile. The tribute they sent this year is 2/3 less than usual. They clearly don't have good intentions. I suspect they think that since we just had internal strife, our national strength is depleted, and they're trying to take advantage of us. The king of Manhwa is acting quite obedient, but that merchant of his, the jewelry brought by that merchant of his, is actually quite nice. It can generate revenue for the national treasury. Respected Emperor of the Great Yan, I have been sent by our great Chanyu to offer you and the noble little princess our most sincere blessings. Our great Chanyu also says that to signify the friendship between our two nations, he wishes to offer his youngest, most beautiful daughter to you, to seal a lasting bond of marriage. Here we go. Here we go. The fox is showing its tail. They're trying to send a beauty over to plant a spy, father. You absolutely cannot agree to this. If you dare find me a stepmother, I'll cry right in front of you. Many thanks for the great Chanyu's kind intention. However, I have just suffered a family tragedy, and my heart is heavy with grief. I have no intention of taking a new empress for the time being. How about this? I have heard that the Prince of Manhwa is still unmarried, and the northern barbarian princess is known for her beauty and virtue. Why don't I take the liberty of betrothing the princess to the Prince of Manhwa? It would be a match made in heaven. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Brilliant. Truly brilliant. A masterstroke of redirection, making Manhwa and the northern barbarians wary of each other, setting dog against dog, and incidentally warning the king of Manhwa, Wuding, letting him know exactly who is in charge. Father, your mastery of statecraft is becoming more and more refined. What is it? Do you both feel that I didn't play the matchmaker well? We subjects thank your majesty for your boundless grace. A diplomatic crisis was diffused just like that, with such nonchalance. Father showed everyone with his actions that even though Great Yan had just suffered internal strife, he remained the iron-fisted monarch who rules over the world. There are still many enemies to face in the future, but we fear nothing. Heaven and earth, profound and yellow. The universe, vast and primeval. That character is pronounced Z, not Jai. Understood. Your ears are sharp, father. 15 years have passed in the blink of an eye. The Ning, and in the swaddling clothes, is now the renowned Princess Regent and protector of the realm. Father gave me the best of everything. The best teachers, the best martial arts training, and a father's love like no other. He never remarried. The inner palace remains deserted. The imperial court has long since been completely overhauled. Those noble clans were rooted out. Replacing them are the commoners father personally promoted. They are fiercely loyal to him and hold me, the figurehead princess, in even greater awe. They all know that although I am young, I am the empire's shadow decision maker. For 15 years, father has never hidden state and military affairs from me. Our communication is something no one else can understand. He reads the memorials. I read his face. He listens to my heart. I give him advice. We, father and daughter, in the most peculiar, yet most tacit way, rule over this vast empire. 15 years of peace and prosperity. Until today, the wolf has been fattened. It is bound to bite eventually. Ashina, Shung's 300,000 iron cavalry. For these 15 years, while we have been recovering and building strength, they have also been biding their time. What do you think? This war is unavoidable, and we must win this war. Not just win, but win decisively. We must, in one blow, break the spine of the northern barbarians to earn our great Yan 50 years of peace. How should we fight them specifically? 300,000 cavalry, but they have one fatal weakness: logistics. Once their supply lines are cut, within half a month, the 300,000 troops will collapse on their own. Your Highness is absolutely correct, but this old minister believes that we need only hold our ground. We can just wear them down. That is the most prudent strategy. No, this time is different. Ashina Shang is no fool. Since he dared to assemble an army of 300,000, he must have already planned his retreat. I suspect he will split his forces into two. One contingent will circle around to the western desert, and from a place we would never expect, break into our territory. Your Highness, that desert is known as the Sea of Death. Neither men nor horses can possibly traverse it. Under normal circumstances, it is impassable. But what if they have discovered new water sources? A group of Western merchants sold a large quantity of well-drilling tools to the northern barbarians. At the time, we assumed it was for the sake of reputation. Now, thinking back, their true goal was to carve a path of life through that Sea of Death. Ning'an, in your opinion, how should we respond? We use their own strategy against them. Your Highness, what do you mean? First, we continue to garrison Yanmen Pass with heavy troops, sending laborers to work on fortifications day and night. The louder the display, the better. We must make Ashina, Shong firmly believe, that we have already fallen for his trap. Second, we mobilize 200,000 of our finest black armored troops and secretly deploy them to the western border. At the desert's exit point, we spread out a massive net, waiting for them to walk right into it. If we can wipe out that entire cavalry force, Ashina Shung's psychological defenses will collapse completely, but that is still not enough. The third move, and the most critical one, is to sever their supply lines, Legao. The 300,000 northern barbarians must have their grain supplies transported along a fixed route, brought up from the rear. We must dispatch our elite light cavalry, like a sharp blade, to cut off their supply lines and burn all their grain. At that point, their resolve will falter, and their morale will collapse. That army of 300,000 will be nothing more than lambs for the slaughter. Ning'an has truly grown up. Do as the princess says. For this campaign, I shall lead the army in person. As for all matters of the court, they shall all be decided by the princess, as if I were here myself. We obey, Your Majesty. Go in peace, Father. I will handle things here at home. You focus on expanding our borders, and I will secure our empire. Ha ha ha. With father and daughter united, there will be no rivals left in this world. March. A hen crowing at dawn is a sign of great catastrophe. The princess is young, and merely a woman at that. How can she take on such a heavy burden? This act defies the customs of our ancestors and insults the wisdom of the sages. These are matters of state, not child's play. Are you finished? I am. Then drag him out. Give him 80 strokes of the heavy staff. Help them clear their heads. Now, who is in charge here? Your Highness, you cannot. Since ancient times, officials have not been punished for their speech. How can you execute someone for their words? Prime Minister, are you pleading for them? Very well. You may join them then. Is there anyone else? Does anyone have any objections? Excellent. Since there are no objections, let us get to work. Minister of Revenue. I am here. I want you to gather enough rations to support the front lines for 3 months within half a month. If even one meal is missing, you will bring your head to me. I accept the decree. Ministry of Works. Your ministry must work day and night to forge 10,000 new style weapons. They must be delivered to Yanmen Pass within a month. Ministry of War. Audit all pension funds for our soldiers. Ensure they are delivered to the families of every soldier before the battle. If there is any embezzlement, I will execute your entire clan. I am no longer the little princess hiding under my imperial father's wings. I am Xiao Ning'an, the true heir to this empire. After my father passed, the rats in the gutters all crawled out. Slander, collusion with the enemy, betrayal. They thought I was weak and easy to bully, but they forgot. The dragon shadow guards are the sharpest blade my father left behind for me. The discordant voices have vanished. Father, everything is going smoothly. The 50,000 northern barbarian cavalry under Shibona will be out of the desert in 3 days. The Black Armor Army has already set a massive trap, just waiting for them to walk right in. The light cavalry tasked with cutting off supplies has also departed. Once the food supplies are burned, you can launch the final assault. Victory reports. 2 reports of victory. The first, from General Li Mu of the Black Armor Army at the foot of the Kunlun Mountains, completely annihilated the 50,000 northern barbarian vanguard. Not a single one escaped. The second, General Hu Kubing, led 3,000 light cavalry on a lightning raid of over 1,000 miles, setting fire to the northern barbarian granaries. 1 million measures of grain reduced to ash. Long live the great Yan. Long live your majesty. Rejoicing too early. The true decisive battle has only just begun. Attack. No retreating. Anyon who takes a step back shall be executed. Break through Yanmen Pass. We must survive. Kill. Emperor of Dayan, pay with your life. Ashina Xiong is dead. Surrender and be spared. In this campaign, Father chased them relentlessly, crossing the Great Wall, striking deep into the heart of the grasslands. From now on, there are no more northern barbarians. Only the Dayan dynasty's Mobei protectorate. Father has achieved a truly unparalleled victory. Your daughter welcomes your triumphant return, Father. Good, good, good. My Ning'an has done very well. In Father's embrace, I felt his pride, his relief, and his deep reliance on me. All of this depended on me as I strategized back in the capital. I am advanced in age, and fear I can no longer manage state affairs. I shall abdicate and become the retired emperor. The throne shall be inherited by the Grand Princess and protector of the state, Xiao Ning'an. So let it be. Your Majesty, you cannot. Since ancient times, only a prince may inherit the throne. When has a woman ever reigned as emperor? This violates all moral order. Please retract your decree, Your Majesty. Enough? Ning'an's talent surpasses my own tenfold. Her reign is a blessing for this nation, a blessing for its people. Anyone who objects is my enemy, and an enemy of Dayan. Gender seems insignificant in the face of absolute power. They know that I have proven myself. I have the capability to rule this vast empire. This path is very long and very lonely. But I don't care. Because behind me, someone is always standing behind me. Kneel. Long live the Emperor. Long live the Emperor. Rise. Establish the Yongan era. May the lands of the Dayan Empire be at peace forever. Father, how does it feel to be Emperor? How does it feel? Very exhausting, but very fulfilling as well. That is good. Ning'an, In this life, your father has failed you, and your mother the most. Back then, I was too focused on the empire and neglected her, which gave those people their chance. But the greatest blessing of my life was having you. You are my one and only, my greatest gift. Father, don't say such sentimental things. You're going to make me cry. Ha ha ha. All right, I won't say anymore. From now on, the empire is in your hands. I trust that you will be a far better ruler than I ever was. Rest assured, Father, I will guard these vast lands well for you. I will make the Dian Empire a truly eternal and prosperous dynasty. My father has found his final place of rest. And as for me, the legend of Xiao Ning'an has only just begun. History will record this new era that we father and daughter created together, the reign of Yongan.